Hey Trista, it's nice to see you. I'm glad that you were able to make it in today. What's going on?
So I'm worried about like when Jason gets out of prison, how that is gonna play out like for our marriage. I don't know if I'll be able to continue our marriage. You understand?
So it sounds like you're very concerned about where your marriage stands right now. Is there a time limit or a time frame, I guess, when he's gonna be released?
So what I basically told him is he needs to, once he's released from the violation of probation center, I want him to do long-term rehab, and possibly sober living after that, because I can't wait for him to do what he says he's going to do. I need him to prove what he's going to do first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So it seems that you are, got a lot of stress going right now, and there's not a lot of, I guess, concrete, answers that you have right now. Things are just floating.
Everything is in the area.
So is this something that has been like ongoing? Is this a new process?
Like addiction?
Just like the struggles that you're having in your marriage, since it seems to be like that's what your main concern
Yeah,
is.
it is. The trust is a big issue. It's a very big issue. But it all stems from his addiction. I feel like I have PTSD from my marriage.
Okay.
So it's not, a lot of the issues are just from his addiction and having to deal with it.
Yeah, so it sounds like addiction plays a huge part of these complications in your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So before he gets home, is there things that you can do for yourself to maybe make yourself more comfortable in your choices?
My plan, I guess, is to focus on myself and my children at the moment and put him at the back burner until he does what he needs to do. And if he doesn't, then yeah, our marriage is going to be 100% over. I just don't ever feel like I'm going to trust him again.
So you have children.
Mm-hmm.
How many children do you have?
4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably a very, big stressor in itself
Mm-hmm.
as well. So what I hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, this time around, since this is a repetitive thing with your husband, that you are in a place where you feel like it's time that you make him stand on his own 2 feet.
Yep.
To where you're able to just be mom and, take care of you and your 4 young children. Is that right?
Yes.
You want to tell me a little bit more about how you plan on doing that?
So, we were living in a trailer and I parked the trailer. I stored it and I moved in with a cousin of mine who, while I'm there, I'm able to save money. I still plan on working, save money. I plan on getting, I guess it's subsidized daycare, to get my baby into daycare. And then, and also my 10-year-old. The other ones are older, so they don't need daycare. Get them into daycare, and then save up money and look for a place of my own.
Okay. So it sounds like you have a plan, and it also would, sound like you are strong-willed of, how you're going to be there for your babies, and that's always, a good thing. So even though this is a stressful situation, like, you can always be happy because you sound like you're a strong mom and you're going to figure it out, and, those are really good qualities to have. So that's a plus. And then this, relative of yours, it seems that it's going to work out for you financially, so there's, that barrier is off your chest right now, right?
Yeah.
So what is your plan for when he gets home? Like, are you going to be concrete with your choices, or is this again something that you
I
went
really
back
hope
on?
I really hope not. Right now, yes, 100%. And I feel like I need him to stay away longer so that I can build my strength. That's what it kind of feels like build my strength so that I can stick to what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because I do love my husband. I just don't love his addiction, and I don't love him when he's high. I love him all the time, but I love him a lot more when he's sober.
Yeah,
it's less stress, and I don't like him when he's sober. When he's high.
So this is obviously a very, big concern for you, is this gentleman's addiction. Throughout your marriage, how long has that been?
3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So in these 3 years that you and this man have been married, has this been something that's taken place majority of it?
Yeah, it's definitely a whole repetitive, he never went to rehab though. He went to detox. He did the 7-day detox, and that was the longest that he did. So when I say I need more from him, I need more sobriety. I need more. Obviously that didn't work, so he needs something else.
Do you have any do you have any knowledge on addiction yourself? Do you know okay, so maybe this is only a suggestion because I can't tell you what to do, but maybe when you speak to him next time, at a visit or whatever, you could explain to him, this is my concern, and this is what I need you to do for your family, and so forth and so on, and see how he feels about that, because it sounds like you really want your marriage to work out, and that it's not something you're willing to give up on.
Right. That would be great. But it's not in my hands anymore. Technically, it's not in my hands anymore. If he is going to not do what he needs to do, then that's his choice. And that will ultimately be the end of our marriage.
So when you envision this end, and it's just over, you're done, what comes after that? Are you going to be okay after that? I know it's hard to see in the future, but if you tried to play it out in your mind.
Is where I'm at with that is a punch in the stomach. It kind of feels like a punch in the stomach, to think that our marriage would be over. I'm getting all teary-eyed.
That's okay. This is a safe space,
okay.
And you can cry in here if you need to.
But he, because he's a good guy. I would love to see my life with him. And I can't see it without him, but I also can't see it continuing the way that it did. So I'm at a very hard part in the relationship and in life.
Trust is a difficult thing, you said, to have with him. Is there any other things that have taken place in your life that would lead for the trust to already be an issue of yours?
Oh, yeah.
And this is just something that's built onto it?
My father died of a heroin overdose, and my husband knew that and knew how I felt and the trust with all that, and yeah, so it stems from that too.
So it's kind of you could say maybe though, you feel like your pain was not recognized by losing your dad, and then now you're dealing with an addicted husband. So
I feel like I married my dad.
Oh, okay. You want to tell me about that?
Most of the things that my dad did to my mom, my husband has done to me, and to be perfectly honest, my husband has done a lot worse to me than my dad has ever done to me. I just finding him passed out, and my dad just stayed away and we didn't see him doing the actual drugs. We knew he was doing them, but we never seen him do the actual drugs. We did through rehabs and all of that. But my husband, I have found him multiple times locked in a bathroom where I've had to break in to make sure that he was okay. And many of times I thought he was dead. And I've had to yell at my child to get the Narcan. And it's a shame that a 10-year-old knows what Narcan is.
Yeah, that seems pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, and then, it's always like a good thing that you can say that you are someone that keeps your family aware of the situations that are taking place, within your lives. In today's world, it's unfortunate, but like our children, they are educated with certain things, especially when they come from addicted parents and stuff like that. So it's, bittersweet.
Yeah. She's very, very well aware of the situation, and I just wish she didn't have to be. It's a shame that the guilt that I carry, that I introduced it into her life.
Well, we're not perfect people. We are humans, and like we make mistakes, and that's okay. We just have to learn from them. And from you sitting in front of me, you're like, I've done this, and I've tried, and now it's time for him to step up and be, dad, be husband. You can't, easier said than done, but putting all the blame on ourselves, it's not,
Well, I feel like the typical enabler in certain senses. Like, I didn't see it before. I do now. So things this time are a lot different on my part. And he definitely knows that. He does know that. Because I've made it very clear to him that things are different, and I did let him know my expectations. Now, whether he takes them seriously, he says he wants to do the rehab and everything. But from past experiences, he gets there and he doesn't stay. He only stays the 7 detox days. He doesn't have to do the detox this time. He's doing that in jail. So I just worry that he's not going to do it, and then I'm going to have to figure out what the end looks like, basically. So.
Yeah. So when you go home today, like maybe you could, write all these things down and like really see like which ones might be easy for you to do and which ones you're going to struggle with. And then, I don't know if the jail that he's in allows like a session, with like a husband and a wife.
No, he's in the violation place. They don't even do visits.
Okay. So then, write these things out on paper, make them visual, because, take them out of your brain and read them and write them, and then see what you can do. And then the things that you think are going to struggle, like we can work on those, we can talk about them, whatever makes you more comfortable when it gets closer to time, we can go over it again. Anything that makes you more comfortable, but, try to focus possibly on the fact that like you're seeing it now. I hear you saying that you enable him. So if for whatever reason that he does come home and you're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna let you come back. Okay, cool. That's what then keep in mind, and maybe like pull that paper out and be like, what did I do to enable him, and what can I not do this time? Only you can set those boundaries, and only you can stick to them. Like, we can't obviously do them for you, and you can't obviously do them for him, like you mentioned earlier in this session. So all of it takes time, but we're here, and you can come back every week and we can discuss the same thing. We can go over other things. You can bring your kids, we can talk
to the kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And stuff like that. There's other options. There's ways.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that idea.
So how do you feel now after this session?
I feel a little like weight a little lifted.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That makes me happy. I like when you guys can leave and feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's very real. I'm glad that you came in. Oh,